for the Inside Scoop, and here with the dish is entertainment journalist and the host of the viral game show. It's called HQ Trivia. Give it up for Sharon Carpenter. Welcome back.
Hi, good to be back, Wendy.
Dustin Hoffman. First of all, have you ever been harassed?
I have. I have. Have you?
No. Not in my entire career.
I've experienced it in the TV industry. I won't name any names,
but do we know?
It's real.
But do we know who?
Maybe some of you, maybe not.
Mm-hmm. Would you come forward, or are you just sitting back and just saying never again?
At some point, perhaps.
You'll talk?
Not at the moment, yes. I don't think this person's in the industry anymore, so I'm not too worried about that, but I will probably share my story one day.
So, Dustin Hoffman. Now, there are old allegations, and now there are new allegations.
New allegations. The third woman has now stepped forward this weekend, yes. She is accusing him of sexual harassment and groping. Her name's Catherine Rossiter. She's an actress who actually starred alongside Dustin Hoffman in the Broadway play Death of a Salesman in the 1980s and in the TV and film adaptation
now,
as
this
well.
is the same play where a teen girl
exactly.
has already, well, she was a teenager.
She worked on so the first woman who came forward was a then 17-year-old intern who worked on the film. This woman worked on both. The Broadway show and the film as well. So she's come forward in The Hollywood Reporter. She's written an essay speaking on this and speaking about this repeated harassment she allegedly faced, repeated groping at the hands of Dustin Hoffman. She says he left his dirty fingerprints on her soul. So a pretty deep and profound allegation right there.
Well, what exactly is she alleging with the groping?
Yeah, so she's saying a lot. She's saying that part of her performance was to deliver a line behind the scenes in the wings of the show into a live microphone. Now, if she said anything extra, the entire audience would have heard this.
Okay.
Every night, she says that Dustin Hoffman was behind her, sitting right behind her in close quarters, and then on one occasion, she felt his hands moving up her thighs,
and
under
she can't
her
say
slip
anything.
dress.
She's in her 20s.
Couldn't say anything. The microphone is right there. Didn't have a chance to speak to him about it. That was the first time, she says, wasn't the last. It was continuous, she alleges, and at one point he even apparently tried to put his fingers inside of her. Yes, so gets quite intense. She also talks about a story where Dustin apparently came over to her, lifted her slip dress all the way up in front of the crew, exposing her breasts and her body as some sort of a sick prank.
Okay,
again, allegedly.
The smart thing about Catherine is that she's got the receipts. Show the picture. Pig.
Yes. So this was another part of the allegations. She says that she used to go to a lot of after parties, have to take pictures with him. He'd grope her breasts continuously and then drop his hand as the photo snapped just in time.
One person
on this occasion caught red-handed by the looks of
One person in our morning meeting, though, said, well, she's not pushing him away. I said, well, what is she supposed to do?
Well, she addresses that as well.
He probably did that at the last minute, you know, right before.
Well, see how her hand is right by his arm, right there. She says she was about to swat his arm away, but of course this is a fraction of a second in time, so it doesn't tell the entire story.
He had to shave his head for the role.
None of this was consensual, and she had to put on a brave face in front of the photographers, the crowds.
Did she ever confront him about it?
She did allegedly confront him a few times. In fact, continuously, she said she tried to ask him to stop nicely, use jokes, had tears in her eyes on occasion, and on one particular evening, she had had enough, pushed him up against the wall, yelled at him, said, F you, leave me alone, and apparently that worked for about 3 days. And then it was back to groping as usual. According to
So I've
Catherine.
never heard of this woman. I guess her career has suffered because of this.
She has done a one-woman show since then, and that's about it. But yes, I mean, this is something she said that it really affected her deep down. She was crying every night, working during the day, crying at night. A very telling picture, for sure.
Has he responded to any of these allegations yet?
He has not responded directly to these ones. Now, his people, his lawyers, put The Hollywood Reporter in touch with a bunch of other people who worked on the same stage production, actresses, actors, people behind the scenes, and none of them can recall witnessing any of this.
Yeah, I don't want to be involved. Get out of here.
That could be it. Yeah, and
I don't want to be involved.
Yeah, some of them are questioning her accounts. So not everybody believes Catherine here.
Okay, so now we're moving on to Charlie Sheen, who's suing the National Enquirer.
Yes, he is. He filed a lawsuit against the National Enquirer over the weekend. And, of course, this is nothing that they're not used to. And this is all stemming from an article they put out in November accusing him of basically being a child molester, of molesting Corey Haim when he was 13 years old and when Charlie would have been 19 years old. They're saying this alleged incident took place during the filming of a movie called Lucas in 1986, which both stars worked on. And they've used some pretty intense language to describe Charlie in this article. They called him a twisted child molester. They called him a ruthless adult rapist as well. So there's no innocent until proven guilty in this article. And they also used the testimony of a guy named Dominic Brasher, and this guy says he spoke to Corey Haim before he died in 2010, and Corey told him that this sexual encounter did happen with Charlie. However, here's the twist. Brasher has actually been accused of molesting Corey Haim himself about a year ago. Yes, which he has flat out denied. I
hear Corey Haim's mom says that she doesn't think that this happened.
Corey Haim's mom came out, sat down with Dr. Oz and said she does not believe any of it. If anything happened between Charlie and Corey Haim, she would have known because Corey would have told her. She did name an adult man who she believes molested her son. It was bleeped out. And it wasn't Charlie. And Charlie thinks this is a big vendetta against him. There's a guy named Dylan Howard, who's the editor-in-chief of the magazine, apparently wanted the scoop on Charlie's HIV-positive status, didn't get it. They wanted to run with that story and break that story, and now apparently has a personal vendetta against Charlie because of that. That's what he's saying in the lawsuit. And he's also really offended because he has teenage kids, a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, who are the same age that Corey Haim would have been at that time.
I am done.
A lot going on.
Ew.
A lot going on.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for bringing us down.
Thank you, Wendy.
Sharon Carpenter, everybody. For more information on these stories, go to wendyshow.com.